Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Shit's about to hit the fan. Welcome to Unsanctioned Thursdays on Wrestling with Freddie.
Welcome to Unsanctioned Thursdays, or whatever day you're listening to us. Welcome back, and today the Frederation answers your questions. You guys came in with a ton, so we're going to get into more of them now, and we're going to start right in about 10 more seconds. Just give me 10 seconds of dead air. I think people... No, I'm just kidding. Alexander Lynham, I think. Freddie, what do you miss? I haven't read any of these. I haven't pre-read these, just so you know. So these, you're getting cold, honest truths. What do you miss most from working on Star Wars? So for those of you who don't know, I wasn't like in Star Wars. I did a cartoon called Star Wars Rebels for the Disney Channel or the Disney app or what. I don't remember what it was called back then or what it's called now. But I played this character named Kanan Jarrus, and he was this like Jedi who lost his master in Order 66 when he was a boy, so he never like got to complete his training. So he's a Jedi, but he's not like a great, powerful Jedi, although the Force is strong with him. And he gets better over time by learning from these other Jedi that are far superior to him. And then his voice is in one of the movies, which shouldn't have been in that movie. That was super weird and not a good choice, but whatever. Everybody makes their choices. But what do I miss most about it? There was an actor named Taylor Gray, and he played my Padawan, my baby Jedi. And him and I, he's a lot younger than me in real life as well, but he and I just kind of clicked and got each other and had a lot in common. He's an old soul, and we became good friends. And I miss not getting to see him every week. It's far and few between now. He's working on movies and not a lot of things shoot in Los Angeles anymore. So he's traveling all over the world making movies. He was in that Saturday Night Live movie. He just had another movie come out. If you follow him on Instagram, he's got kids working all the time, and he's a really talented actor. He's really in touch with his emotions. He can bring them out, and he's been able to bring them out since he was a young actor. So really talented dude. Respect him a lot, and I miss that whole cast. But Taylor and I definitely we got close on that. I know a Tyler Gray as well, who's also an actor, so I often say the wrong name. But I love him. If you're listening, bro, I love you. He's not listening. All right, next up, Jay Sutton 42. All right, Jay Sutts, here we go. Should the Undertaker and more former wrestlers get into the writer's room? Yeah, if they could talk. If they could talk, they absolutely should. If they weren't talkers on the mic, then absolutely not. You know, I remember a wrestler was frustrated with one of the producers because the agent or producer of the match was giving him stuff to do that he didn't think was going to work. And I said, you know, I'm trying to make it all peaceful. And I was like, well, you know, the guy's got a lot of experience, man. Just give him a chance on this. He goes, he's got experience not getting over. He's like, this dude wrestled 20 years. He didn't get over once because he doesn't know how to do a good match. Now I got to listen to him. And I was like, yeah, I didn't think about it like that. And so I went to my boss at the time and spoke to him. And he kind of laughed and went, well, he's not wrong. But I shouldn't do the accent. Everyone will know who it is. Well, anyway, the person I went and talked to was Michael Hayes. I'll just say his name. He was awesome, Freebird. He goes, well, he's not wrong, but he's got to do it. He goes, I'll go talk to him. Don't worry. And then he smoothed it all out. And the guy's still wrestling today and doing great. And he definitely got over it. But I remember that was funny. So, yeah, if they're good at it, I absolutely think they should be in the room. Next up, for Miss Kate Fabe. Get it? Kate Fabe. What's one major thing that each major promotion, AEW and WWE, should focus on for the rest of the year? The AEW one is easy. The matches are great. The reason why sometimes leaves a little to be desired. They're getting it right with Hangman Adam Page and Jon Moxley. They're telling a long-term story there and building that out before All In. But I don't feel they always give you enough story even when the opportunity's there. Sometimes there's not enough time and there's not enough spots on the amount of hours of wrestling that you put on per week. Sometimes there's just not. But I felt, you know, over the last year that there have been some opportunities story-wise that they could have snuck in there and made it work from match to match and give everyone sort of a reason why. And then when they see each other 3 months later, I remember what you did to me, you son of a gun. So, yeah, so I think that's what they could focus on. And for WWE, I would say it's almost time for the Karrion Kross push. That would be really cool if he got the push that everyone kind of wants him to get this year. So I'd love for those two things to come true. This one's from Adam Geek Show. Do you think the WWE is better now that they're under the TKO brand? You'd have to describe better for me, Adam. I think story-wise they're telling really good stories, but they were also telling pretty good stories right before the TKO buy with the Bloodline and Sami Zayn in it and all that good stuff, and Cody's story, which is pre and post TKO takeover, I believe, if my history's right. I don't pretend to be an historian. I just love wrestling. But so I don't know if it's better. Maybe the quality of life is better for the wrestlers. Maybe it's worse. I don't know. I can ask a couple wrestlers I know how they're liking their jobs and things like that, and get you answers there. But creatively, I feel like it's still in line with where it was right before the buyout as far as the types of stories they're telling. That doesn't answer your question as well as you'd hoped. But better is a tricky word because it's subjective, right? So there you go. Austin XVI, Austin 16. Here we go. Do you think wrestling is better with or without the internet? I think it's better. I think wrestlers have another option to help get themselves over, and some of them have done it really, really well. If you look at what Matt Cardona was able to pull off, he did it first. I think he was the first internet champion, a title he created, I believe. Drew McIntyre is really good on Twitter as far as like help getting his character over and his philosophies and his points of view and carrying that over into storyline. A lot of wrestlers use his tweets against him in their promos. So I think it's better for wrestling. There's definitely good and a bad to it, right? Like both things can exist at the same time. Just like in life, it's not, black and white. Life is very, very gray. And, so there's a bad side to it too. I know people's contract stuff gets leaked. That's bad. Storylines get leaked. That's bad. Finishes get leaked. That's all bad. But what's the Buddhist thing? There's 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows in life. And sometimes you're going to experience a bunch of them at once, and it's going to outweigh the other. And sometimes it's going to be balanced, and sometimes it'll be out of whack the other way. But there's 10,000 joys and 10,000 sorrows with everything that has to do with wrestling. But I think it's better overall. All right, we're getting through these. The final question from the SoCal King 32. Which would be harder to write for, SNL or WWE? SoCal King 32. I am in a unique position that I have seen both environments work and have successes and failures. I hosted SNL back in the day. I don't remember what movie I was promoting. I think it was Down to You. That's the name of that one with Julia Stiles, right? Down to You? Down. I'm not tripping. Down to You. And I hosted, I don't remember, the musical guest was Macy Gray. And I watched their writer's room work and operate. I think it might be a little easier, believe it or not, in SNL because you can have evergreen sketches, scenes that aren't on any kind of timeline. You can just come up with a character and go, well, I'm going to save that for when the boss is feeling me, and then I'm going to pitch this new character and see what happens. Or I got this funny idea for a one-off scene that we can just pocket, and if the show's struggling, I can go, oh, I have this scene, da-da-da-da-da. So in wrestling, you can't do that. It's week to week. You can't really save anything. You can maybe save a good promo, but you still have to tweak it when the time comes based on the person the other character's wrestling, right? And the bosses were very, very different. Like Lorne was a very different boss than Vince was. I don't know how Hunter is as a boss. I liked Hunter when I worked there, but I don't know how he is as a boss. I just know Vince, and I know how Lorne operated. Lorne was certainly more supportive, tough but supportive. Vince wouldn't even read the SmackDown scripts until the actual rundown of the show, 4 hours before we shoot, and then would sometimes not like it and make the writers rewrite everything right then. Lorne is in those pitch meetings where all the ideas are getting pitched, and he's letting you know almost right away whether he's liking what you're doing or not, and is sending you back to the drawing board. So you get a little more time, even though Saturday Night Live is crazy rushed. And then the final thing is Saturday Night Live runs in seasons. WWE is 365 days a year. So the writers get time off to kind of recharge, come up with new ideas, go out, do their stand-up comedy, come up with new characters, all that kind of stuff. The writers in WWE just get grinded on, not like at a strip club where it's awesome, in a horrible way, like a rock grinding on your skin. And it really wears you down, especially when a good idea gets smashed and gets replaced with an idea that you don't think is as good as the one that just got smashed. Now that probably happens in SNL too, but it happened like on the weekly in WWE. So I've seen how both operate. That's kind of my take on both. And I think SNL would be not quite as hard as WWE. Although their comedy stuff on SNL outside of, well, we'll save that for another episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching our videos on social, thank you for listening wherever you listen from and whatever day you listen on. I hope everyone has a happy 4th of July weekend. If you're listening to us after the 4th, I hope it was awesome. Stay safe. Watch fireworks. Don't light fireworks. Same as cigarettes, right? It looks cool, but don't smoke them because they'll kill you. See y'all next week. Peace.